All right. Recording has started, brothers. Welcome to day two of the SAIU 2025 Days of Giving. I will be your host for this brief little update at the end of the day. We've got another 6 hours before midnight and a long time before the end of the Days of Giving. I'm here with Foundation President Alexander Sinchek. And we're going to just sort of go through the day a little bit. How you doing, Alex?
It is a great Friday. I think I love Days of Giving in its now almost 12th year of existence. It's morphed, obviously, throughout that time, but the past 5 years have been a really wonderful sprint of time where we have seen large growth and, excuse me, more importantly, we've seen a lot of great energy from people who come out of the woodwork for these Days of Giving. And I just am really thankful for the energy of our staff and our leaders and our volunteers, especially, who make this possible and frankly bring energy that you just don't see any other time of year.
I agree. How's the vocal cords holding up?
Well, I look. 'Tis the season. Couple of events this week, some travel. I have limited vocal ability. I won't be singing any operas shortly. But look, I will also say, just to kind of capstone my other thoughts, we're seeing this year a lot of names that we haven't seen before, and that's a great addition to our roster of donors. A lot of chapters, a lot of generations that we haven't seen. So it's really wonderful.
Wonderful. We had an anonymous board member throw in a speed challenge earlier today, where we try to get 30 donors in 2 hours. We did meet that challenge, so thank you to all of you out there in TV land who helped us with that.
I would say that speaks to two things, really. One is when we put out the call, which we didn't even have that donation before, I think 10:30 today. We decided to go with it and to run with it, and we put out the call. And, people really showed up. I would say that we generated some meaningful gifts and had some reaction to some people who already had given, frankly. So there were a lot of gifts in that time, which demonstrates two things. One is that our communication is reaching people, which is great. And I'm happy about that because it means that people will be informed about the programs and the other work that we're doing. But secondly, that this is a social experiment, Psi Upsilon in general, as well as these Days of Giving. And it's just wonderful to see people coming to the plate, really understanding that every dollar does count.
Yeah, very much so. I'd like to run through our top five real quick. We've got the Gamma Tau off to a lead, followed by the Delta Omicron. Then we have the Pi, your Eta, and I forget. We've also got the sorry, that was the Psi, the Omicron, and the Eta in the number 3 slot.
Great.
Followed by the Pi at Syracuse and Omega. So Chicago and Syracuse. And then the Phi Gamma.
Good.
I also need to fix this real quick. Hold on just a moment with our live broadcast. So, Alex, you've talked to a lot of people. Talk to us about some of the folks that you have spoken to in the last 2 days. I know we had a great video. Yeah, Christian Klein.
We had a really interesting question actually before Days of Giving. It came through over the weekend from somebody that we reached out to sort of let people know that it was coming up. The longtime donor, not recent, but a long time ago, was a good donor. Asked about, who are we today and how are we are we committed to our values, frankly, and wanted a direct answer to the question of what do we believe in today and how are we doing it? How are we being a fraternity in 2025? And the answer I gave with some other colleagues and board members was that it would be silly for us to not acknowledge that the world is vastly different than 1975 or 1995 or even 2005. And so it's not so much that our values we have to reinterpret our values, which we don't. Our values are extremely salient today about excellence, social, moral, intellectual excellence. But it's the way that we deliver it. And this dialogue that you and I are having is an example. I mean, that is using technology and additional vehicles of delivery of programming that is the difference between who we were 50 years ago, 200 years ago, and who we are today. The values have never changed, and they are, in fact, I think, as Tom Fox has said in a couple of meetings recently, our values actually are more important today than they ever have been before. It is absolutely necessary for us to exist for the health and the nurturing of tomorrow's leaders, of strong, ethically minded leaders that leave the university campuses that we're on. And what we do with them has changed. We have graduate scholarships, we have fellowships, we have a lot more roles that people are playing, but the values and our mission has not changed an iota from who we were. And I think that we look at a changing population, but the same values are there.
Absolutely. I tell people often, in my quest as a senior director of engagement, that everybody loves their colleges and everybody loves their formative SIU experience. That's part of what builds our affinity for this great organization. But where a lot of our brothers are only, discover later, this is a warm introduction to brothers in every industry and all over the world. And, networking is an active sport. So if you, you can rely on those commonalities of experience and explore those differences together and make new memories, I recently had the joyous experience of getting to go see Purdue in West Lafayette for the installation of the Delta Omicron chapter and meet those brothers and experience that campus for the first time. But that experience will probably draw me to Cincinnati to see some brothers who I met, to meet other brothers who live there.
Yeah.
We will be entirely connecting around new SIU memories. I know that you recently went to the All SIU golf outing in Tuxedo.
All SIU golf. I was in Seattle a couple of weeks ago. I have a privilege of going around and meeting brothers, both in social context as well as just private meetings, and hearing their story. And I think the thing that we don't shout loud enough to potential brothers, right, in recruitment is the value of that lifelong experience and the value of having a network for personal and professional purposes throughout one's life. And every time I hear, in fact, just recently, I had a great conversation with the spouse of a brother who is looking at a career change and looking for some guidance, and was able to have a lovely conversation for 45 minutes about some of the things to look out for from my experience and from what I've learned over the years. And the value of having that in a on-demand network that you don't have to show up and put any kind of facade, but you can come as you, is a really wonderful thing. And I think that Jonathan, I think that what's interesting is we know that it happens all the time in private settings. We know brothers are gathering, and they're commiserating ski vacations, sailing, whatever experiences they're having, and where we can offer that expansive network for a international opportunity, and also be familial in how we immediately just you say hi, and people are welcoming because they know that you are a SIU. And so that kind of network approach, that kind of that value that we provide as a global network, is, when people tap into it, very powerful.
Yep. All right, so I got a brief. You're very, very right, Alex. I got a brief. We're about to hit a milestone, brothers. So I want to make sure that we draw attention to it. We are at 97 donors since we launched. So I want to ask people to get us over that 100 donors. Our goal for the weekend through next Tuesday is 350. We're about to cross 100. I'd also like to thank Lou Hanover, who just made a donation of the I forget Lou's chapter. We'll make sure we get that. Brighton Mead of Phi Beta just made a donation. And David Chirac, another Omega. That's 2 Omegas in the last 10 minutes. Sounds like maybe Manuel Chaknis has gotten home and is hitting the. I know, I'd like to thank all of our captains. This year we've expanded that program. We've got captains and ambassadors helping us get the word out this year. And so I'd like to thank Candace Hudak of the Delta Omicron 21, David Grande of the Eta 11, David Poor of the Gamma Tau, Manny Chaknis and John Song of the Omega, Jim McDaniel and Jim Dowling of the Psi, Justin Myers and Joey Finkelstein of the Tau Epsilon at Clemson, Drew Crosby of the Theta Pi, Cushing Donovan. Thank you all for, you'll all be getting emails from these folks, either of thank you or asking you for money. So I highly recommend go ahead and making your donation proactively, and then you just get the nice thank yous. Also, I've been alerted because, I don't use this program all that often, but there might be a link for the March Challenge. So please, this is the Day of Giving event. So please make your gift at SIU.org/Days of Giving 2025.
Jonathan, I'll interject that you rolled off several wonderful brothers who have stepped into these roles. I was asked recently about how many people are involved in SIU, and I said, well, we've got 29,000 living alumni, and we have a mailing list of whatever in the good mailing addresses for about half of that, and so on and so forth. But it actually got me considering how many volunteers we have in the international office, and I think our number is at an all-time high right now of about 80 brothers with titled volunteer roles, either on a committee or serving in some capacity. And you think about that, the management and the and the logistics of running those committees and making it a valuable, meaningful experience is quite lofty, but it's wonderful and exceptionally notable in 2025 to have so many brothers doing jobs, performing roles like you and I are dedicating time to the organization. This is what enables us to run more programs than we've ever had before.
Yeah. I actually just got a note from Manuel that yes, he sent a small email to 100 fine Omegas, and that's partly why we're seeing a surge there.
Good.
Another Omega.
Wonderful.
So brothers, we're trying something a little bit different. We're going to be doing little small streams throughout the weekend, throughout the days of giving. I've gotten about to the end of the 15 minutes that Alex promised me. But we will be here broadcasting on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
It is. Yes. And I just want to say that, we what I really appreciate, in addition to obviously the dollar donation, is also people sharing comments about what they love, why they give, what their hopes are for within reason. But I really do emphasize using the comment feature because it's wonderful to put a voice behind the donation.
Yeah, and that is to say, make a comment both on the Days of Giving site and also here whenever we go live, because it gives us something to react to. And I guess my call to action for you is going to be if you haven't, go check out SciU's YouTube page, because that's where we put all of our virtual speaker series. And we've got like 85 subscribers. So we could probably do a little better than that.
We probably can, yes.
But with that, I'm going to return the rest of you to your regularly scheduled evening. And Alex and I will be taking donations, working the phones, and keeping tabs and posting updates for the rest of the night. Let me see real quick. I can give us a final set of standings before the next that I do online. So that's going to be we had one from Bob Dorigo Jones and Eric Vasquez.
Wonderful.
And let's see what the teams are doing. Looks like we've got Gamma in the lead with the Delta Omicron behind at 12. The Eta have pulled ahead of the pack and are just about to cross into double digits. We've got 9 fine Etas and a new tie at 8 with the Omega, Psi, and Omicron tied at 8. Also as a brief note, you want to, unless you want to be a team captain. I see you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, the link in the first Facebook live chat is for the March challenge. I can't seem to get it to go away. I will fix it when I go offline. But please do use Days of Giving, sciu.org/Days of Giving 2025. If you go to to sciu.org, there's a nice button. I will fix that on the back end. And also, I recommend using the Donate Now button on the Days of Giving page. The donate to your team is how you create a fundraising page within it, and it is more Byzantine than simply hitting the Donate Now button. Stream and go fix those links, and we'll be here. So here for any questions, brothers.
Hey, Jonathan, last question for you. You've done this about 5 times. What is your favorite moment during Days of Giving, besides when it's done?
Oh yeah, no, it's honestly anytime we see anytime anyone on staff can tell that there's energy out there, that something has happened, right? Like, okay, the Omega's making moves, that somebody's doing something. The Gamma is surging. What's going on? I could clearly see when the captain for the Delta Omicron started making calls. That's always exciting. I could tell when the last year when the Pi chapter had group dinner because it was clear that something was going on Sunday evening, and I was like, Tom, what's going on with the Pi? And they said, oh, well, they have dinner together every night at this time.
Right.
So those are my favorite.
I love that.
Of course, like Manuel in his chat to me just said that he got a call just now from an Omega brother from his home in Spain, and I know that's probably made his night. That's just something to be jazzed about. So those moments,
wonderful. Yep. My favorite moment is how I think Chip said this really well. It gave him reason to call people that he hasn't talked to in a very long time. And while obviously we're here to raise money and we're here to put numbers on the board, it's also a moment when there's a natural reason for a lot of us to reach out to people we don't talk to every day. And it's just really wonderful to reconnect, sometimes only for 5 minutes or even by text, but it is still a reason to reconnect. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, very much agree. All right, I'm going to shut this down and
thanks, Jonathan. Great to be with you. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Alex. See you later. And bye, everybody.